Welcome to another Chronicle Chamber video review. We are going to be reviewing the Frew, the Ghost and the Monster graphic novel. This is the second one from the overall series. We're going to be going over the cover, the artwork, the overall story, and then the overall production. So sit back and enjoy.
The cover from Giancarlo Caracuzzo is really entertaining. I think it's and certainly fits the story. Gives you it's a well laid out with the 21st Phantom. What we find out is the 17th Phantom and Ghost and the Monster. Doesn't take too much figuring out to have a look at. Well, if that's the monster, we know of Frankenstein's monster, so that's pretty nice depiction of him there too. Not the bolts that we might be used in some of the stereotypical depictions of Frankenstein's monster, but nonetheless, nice mix of colour and sort of the brown and white to make the 21st Phantom stand out on the cover there.
The cover, to me, it's a bit bland and a bit dull. It was my criticism with the first graphic novel. It doesn't really scream by me. If there was the Phantom fighting Frankenstein, hand around the neck, getting strangled, look like he's about to be defeated, I think that would have been a little bit more attractive.
If I just talk about the production quality for a moment, this is a really nice looking book from cover to cover. They've done a really nice job there. Just for way of comparison, I always do like to make sure that it's going to look good with its compatriot on the bookcase. You can see there it's the same dimensions as sort of the graphic novel number 1. A little bit thicker, obviously, and that's to do with the page count. There's 138 pages in Ghost and the Monster, and sort of the Cleef was a 90-page story. You can see there the internals, really nicely put together, contents page moving straight into the story. In terms of the chapter titles, the chapter titles, just as we go through, they have the chapters like that. Otherwise it just reads straight through like a book, no interruptions whatsoever. A few ads on the last page there is. So a nice looking put together story there.
A couple of things about the overall presentation of the book. We made mention of the cover. I love the "For those who come in late." I really enjoy this "What happens" little slogan, but I think it kind of gets wasted a little bit there. And then the bio of the story as well is kind of lost as well. The "What happens" slogan could actually be maybe used in here, as well as the "For those who came in late." Now, I enjoyed it like with the asterisk graphic novels and books that you see, and it had kind of like that in the first page. That was always enjoyable, and it was really good use for those who were coming in late. The other thing I would have liked is towards the back, two things: having a bio of Andrew, Giancarlo, and his daughter Flavia, and then also a process from the script to the pencils to the inks to the colours. It's just something extra. Now, not every fan or reader would enjoy that, but your hardcore fans and the art dealers and collectors would enjoy that. All right, the artwork. I really like Giancarlo's style. I really like it. I like also how he's used bigger panels this time than in the first graphic novel. His daughter, and I'm going to butcher this name, Flavia. I really like the colours that she's used. There's brighter colours, there's darker colours, there's the brooding look, and then there's, like this, which is the the snow swept, desolate type of look. She's done a great job. I think they work well together, the father-daughter duo. A small criticism, and maybe this is something, it needs to be something addressed, because it was also an issue that I had in the first graphic novel, and that is when we're going in past stories, there's no little bubbles to kind of indicate that, hey, we're going into the past, or something like that. It's something small, but it just makes reading a little bit easier, especially for younger people and people who aren't strong in reading. The fight scenes that we see are big, are enjoyable. Here's half a page, and there's plenty of other full pages which you'll probably see as we continue to go around it. Look, there's a nice big page, Diana walking in on him, used for a big shock, not a big fight scene, but there's also fight scenes, but there's good use of panel sizes on here. The artwork flows well with the story. Okay, so moving on to the story. I got two criticisms for Andrew, who is the writer, Andrew Constant, who's a fairly well-known Frew creator. The first one is that the Frankenstein should not know that the Phantom is mortal. The immortal legend is part of the ethos, part of the lore of the Phantom. I don't like the fact that a casual acquaintance should know that. The other thing is there is a jail in the Skull Cave. It's not the Phantom's job to cast judgment and be the judge and the jury. The Phantom captures the person, then he takes them over to the necessary law, whether it's the jungle law or the city law. He does not put people in jail. All right. Now, the monster theme. I'm not a huge monster person. I don't really like monster themes in my Phantom, but I think it works. And I think Andrew has made it to work in this story. So I am prepared to enjoy this story, even though monsters is not my cup of tea, which they drink plenty of it in this story. Andrew, I love the way he portrays Diana. Diana is strong. She takes charge. She is more than just a damsel in distress. Yes, she gets kidnapped, but she is a lot more than that. She shows a toughness, but she also shows a humanity. And I like this Diana. This is a Diana that we all enjoyed in the 30s and 40s. And so Andrew has done a great job with that. Overall, the script and the art works well together. They have done a great work combining the two, the flowing, the panels, the lack of excess copy. It all works quite well. And they are a good team, and hopefully they come up with a couple more graphic novels as well. Here's a good scene towards the end here where Diana takes charge, and you see a really good element of Diana.
All right, let's have a look at the internal art of Ghost and the Monster, and there's some really beautiful pages. I do like the ability of the graphic novels to have full page artwork. And the way Giancarlo, I guess the way that Andrew Constant has written it and Giancarlo has drawn it, is that the artwork really contributes to the fast pace of the story with lots of large panels and fewer panels on each page, so that the story moves along at a cracking pace. Giancarlo's art, I think, can take a little bit of time for people to adjust to. He does pretty decent horses. It's just a little bit of a more dynamic Phantom, I suppose, or an angular Phantom in some ways than what many people might be used to. And I guess some of the way that Giancarlo draws body types as well, very big-chested characters, particularly the muscle men, of which Phantom is obviously one. He does draw a very beautiful Diana. That's the first time we see her on this page. Again, very angular in his depictions of people and really everything about it. That's quite a powerful scene. Here's another, and this is one of the other bad guys the main bad guy really, in the story. And again, you can see, well, this guy's drawn like a 1930s strongman, I suppose. Yeah, quite enjoy the art. Very dynamic is the way that I would say most of it is put together. And there's lots of fight scenes through this in which Giancarlo gets to show that off. In terms of the narrative, Andrew Constant's story that he's written here for Ghost and the Monster, I think a lot of people will really enjoy it because the mix of another familiar character, Dr. Frankenstein's monster coming in. I really like the redemption story of Frankenstein's monster and the way that it's tied in with past Phantoms as we see the 17th Phantom, and there are times where we see the backstory of that. It's a really plausible, effective tie-in of Frankenstein's monster into the Phantom universe. I keep going under that page, don't I? You can see there the use of colours. I believe that's, I don't know what the relation of Flavia Caracuzzo is to Giancarlo, but the colours really help at various times as well. So back to the narrative. There's lots of witty dialogue. I guess there are times I would say, like as I sort of said before, the story is really fast paced, and you do tend to just fly through the story. It's 138 pages, but doesn't feel like that as you read it. There are times, I suppose, when for me the Phantom's a little bit out of character. Some of the ways in which he meets the monster at the start, and there's also a particular scene in Part 6 or Chapter 6 that just doesn't gel well with me as a Phantom fan, I suppose. So that might be something that I might have looked at in the editorial cuts. There's certainly some space for some old jungle sayings as well, which would have been nice to see those come in. But look, overall,